So when you're ready, just bring your feet in underneath your hips, nice and tall, just a little roll back with the shoulders and a little brace through your core. So when you're ready, starting with shoulder circles, just crossing the hands in front of your head and pulling the elbows down towards the ribs. As you pull the elbows down, squeeze the elbows right into the side of the ribs so it starts to just engage our lats. And we can feel the shoulder blades pulling down into the back of the rib cage. 2 more circles. And then your next one, just up in the arms in line with the shoulders. A little side step out to the side and back into centre. Keep the hands low, so kind of in line with your mid-chest. And when you step together, squeeze the shoulder blades together, but try not to push your rib cage forward. So you want to keep the hips just underneath the shoulders as you step in. And again, shoulder blades almost trying to touch the spine as you pull the arms out nice and wide. So 2 more across here, and they'll come into our little side bends. So stay across, tip to the right, push your hip gently over to the left, and gently pulling your elbow up towards the ceiling. Right hand sliding towards the knee, or starting to bring it a little further out to the side. And as you bring your arm further out, you can also try and lift your hip, your right left hip, a little higher, just so we get more stretch into that inner thigh. And 2 more across here. And then resting in centre. Turn both feet out to a slight diagonal. Let your weight shift over to your right and then over to your left. Just a little push back with the hips, keeping your shoulders, your chest nice and square to the front. And each time trying to push your hips back towards your heels. So as one knee bends, the opposite leg straightens, so it brings a stretch in the inner thigh. Let your hands just lightly rest onto the thigh each time. And just once more each side. A little breath in and then breathing out and holding in centre. A nice big lift of the arms. Bend both knees, coming into a squat and then reach the arms back overhead. Breathing in as you sit back and down. And trying to bend both knees evenly. So weight goes into the heels and you push down through the heels and give the bottom a nice big squeeze as you rise. Little nod in with the chin. So we're keeping the neck in line with the spine as we hinge forwards. Twice more to the top. And then we're going to stay at the top, holding the hands up and holding them together. Just a little side bend over to your right and then over to your left. Anchor down through both heels. Keep the hands clasped together. And then feel your ribs just easing away from your hips. And again, once more, each side. Stay in the centre this time. And then bring your feet back in, underneath the hips, back to your arm circles with a heel raise. Breathing in as you lift, and then letting your weight just sit back down into the heels each time. When you're lifting the heels, try not to let the ankles roll apart, and still pulling the armpits, the shoulder blades right down. 2 more circles, and then we're going to step over to the left, just making sure you got the space. Step across, and then come back in. So again, we want to lift the chest as we step into centre. I'm going a little slower than normal so I can breathe, but if you want to move a little bit quicker, that's fine too. Keeping your right foot pinned to the floor, and then again really pulling up through the crown of the head each time when you rise. Feel the hips sit a little further back, and once more, and then staying across. So nice wide step across, left foot slightly out, and then into your side bends. Left hand can just slide down the leg towards the knee, or it can start to ease out to the side, giving your right hip a little lift up towards the ceiling. Now again, as we tip into the side, we're trying to keep a little squeeze between the shoulder blades, so your ears, your shoulders, your hips stay all nicely aligned as you tip to the side. Breathing out with the tip, a little breath in to rise, and your last one. Taking both feet out now to the diagonal, we come back to that side lunge, but this time we lift the arms, drop them to the right, and then drop them to the left. So your right knee bends, and then your left knee bends. Hands just reach behind the hips, and you can start to slightly turn your upper body, So it's bringing more rotation through the spine, or you can start to wrap the arms. Just let them wrap around the waist to encourage more rotation. Keep the length into the neck and keep slightly pushing back into the hips. That's going to help to warm up the legs. It's going to start to loosen up the hips. Once more each way. And then holding in centre. Bring your feet together. Let's come to a lunge with a little bit of balance. So feet hip distance, shoulders above hips. Take a nice long stride back. Just lift the back knee, lower the back knee, then lift the arms, and then lift the back foot. So you're bending the back knee, and if you prefer, you can keep that back foot down, and just feel like you're pushing your chest forward, just slightly past your big toe. As you tip forward, keep the chin slightly nodded in. And again, remember you can keep the foot on the ground, because as we come forward, we're going to bring the knee in, and then back to the lunge. And again, option to tap the foot, keep it on the ground here, or again, lifting the knee, shoulders above hips, push through the front heel. And as you bring the arms down and the knee in, try and get that length into the spine. Chin tucked in, once more, and then stepping your feet under your hips. Left leg this time. So hip distance apart. Long stride back with the left leg, tuck in the bottom, lift the arms just in front of the face, and then again option, foot on the floor. Try and stay balanced, or let that back foot lift, something like that. And as you're lifting the back leg, keeping your toes pointing down to the floor, use the out breath so engage your core as you hinge forwards, and then option to add in that knee lift. So we've still got that little tip forward through the hips, knee comes forward, tucking the tailbone as you come into the lunge. Or again, if you prefer, just that light tap at the back and tapping in to centre. 3 to go. Breathe out so you can hinge a little further forwards. And your last one. And step down. Right, so let's grab a weight. I'm going with the light ones this morning. Sure you won't mind. So when we come to squats, we come back to our basic moves, our squats, our biceps and our shoulder presses. So the feet just want to be outside the hips with toes facing forward, and then open the knees from the hips to switch on the outer thighs. Sitting into a squat and just curling up to the chest. So as the weight comes forward, don't allow the back to bend. Keep the shoulders back and down. So when we've got our neutral spine at the top, we keep that nice strong set position through our upper back as we just let the weight go back into the heels. Squeeze the bottom to get the hips back underneath the shoulders. And still trying to keep those collarbones as open as you can, especially when you lower the weight. Add in a press. So to your collarbones, between the knees, to your collarbones. And as you press the weight in front, keep it a diagonal so you're not coming right over the head. And that's going to help to keep the back in more of a neutral position as we move. Knee lift is your next option. So you can lift your right knee, add a press, step back outside the hips, left knee, press. And if you don't want to lift the knee, you can just tap lightly onto your right foot. So you're still encouraging the opposite leg to work for stability. If it does feel okay lifting the knee, try and keep the knee just below hip line so it makes it a little easier to keep the lower back in neutral. Don't forget to brace your core as you start to rise, and keep that little core brace as you press. Once more here. And then placing your left foot down lightly. Weight into the right hand, bicep curl with a tricep kick back and just a little hinge. So notice how the upper arm stays right by the rib cage. So you're not letting the arm go further back or the elbow come forward. You've locked your shoulder into position And again, as you're hinging forwards, just straighten the arm for the triceps and curl to the front of the shoulder for the biceps. When you extend the leg behind, maybe a little tap or a little lift. Breathe out, engaging your core, keeping that length as you tip forwards. And your last 2 here. 2, and your last 1. Now bring the weight back down to your thigh and take your left leg back and come out to a single arm fly and add back in the bicep curl. So focus on shoulder stability. We're still keeping that shoulder blade drawn down to the back of the rib. We're trying to keep the trunk of the body still. And think about lengthening again through the lower back, so your tailbone softly draws down towards the heel. When you take your arm out to the side, option to tap your foot just out to the side and to centre. So still got that stability work in our standing leg. Notice how you've got the bend into the knee, breathing it out, breathing into the curl, 2, and your last 1. And then step forwards, changing sides. There's your right leg that goes back, hold your elbow up to the rib, and then your tricep kick back, and your bicep curl. Hinging from the hip, so try not to tip and keep the head up to the ceiling. Let your whole body weight come forwards. Option for balance, light tap in centre, and still keeping that bend in your front knee. If you don't want to step all the way back, you can not hinge, you can just step to here and back, especially Martin, that's better for your knee. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Elbow again, still nicely tucked in towards the ribs. And really feel the back of the arm squeezing as you extend the arm back. Shoulder blades still both thrown down. And we're going to rest the foot at the back. So just your bicep curl now, and then bring the arm out to the side, palm facing down. Now you don't want to be too upright here because you'll work the top of the shoulder. So I want that lean forward, like again you're pushing your chest just over your big toe, but keeping the bend in the knee and the weight placed through the heel. When the arm comes out to the side, maybe try and move the leg out to the side, so it challenges again the stability work through your standing leg. Check your left knee, might want to drop in, so keep the knee open from the hip. Breathe out as you open, little breath into centre. For 4, feel the shoulder blade pulling in towards the spine. Left knee still gently pressed out towards the little toe. And I can't count, I think this is your last one. And then resting and resetting. Right, so way back to your collarbones. From here, in with the elbows. We're going to come into a squat, the press, and then into your tricep extension. So collarbones, overhead, and into the triceps. So breathe in, out, out. As we come up out of the squat, squeeze the bottom, so it keeps the hips, excuse me, I'm really sorry. Keeps the hips nice and still. You press down through the heels, and then 3 tricep presses here. 3 to the base of the neck, 2 to the base of the neck, and then back to your squat. Squeezing the bottom, 3 down, 2, 1. Option now for a heel lift. So you can lift the heels, lower the heels to 3, 2, 1. Make sure the heels come down as you squat. And again, lifting the heels, heels down, heels up, 2, 1, and again, back to the squat. Nearly hit myself on the head then. 3, 2, making sure again you sit into the heels, lift the heels on the way up, lower them, lift them. Keeping the knees soft as you lift the heels, and keeping the ribs down as you work with the arms. Little tuck of the tailbone, so again it keeps the spine in neutral. And try not to let the ankles, I forgot to lower the heels, ankles roll apart as you work with the tricep press. Last time. 3, up, bring the weight down. Rotators the left shoulder. Weight just in front of your thigh. We're going to slide across, let the right knee bend, and then as you step in, just bring the weight to shoulder level. So step across and pull back. Now when you step across, don't let that knee go forward. Think about pushing back a little into the bottom. So again, you can drive your hips forward, back underneath the shoulders, with that nice strong core brace. You can use the right arm to counterbalance, especially if you're adding your knee lift. Now with or without the knee lift, to challenge our core, we're going to add in a single arm shoulder press. So we hold, press, certainly a challenge, brace, press. So don't rush into the shoulder press. Find your balance first, or not, and then press. And again, a little breath in, head up towards the ceiling. And as you bring the elbow back, you want to just be directly in line with your shoulder here and here. And twice more. Press. And your last one. We're going to come into our windmills next. So you can just step your right foot out, turn the left foot to a slight diagonal and weight in front of your thigh. Hips over to the right. Sorry, that's where to stay. Running out of breath. Breathing in as you lower down and then breathing out as you rise. So you want to think about your base. Squeezing the thighs, taking that squeeze all the way to the bottom so the hips stay in place. Then if you want to deepen the stretch, just gently turn your eye gaze up towards your hand and then bringing the shoulders all the way back above the hips. So slow breath in and the out breath to rise. Keeping the squeeze between the shoulder blades so it still keeps your collarbones open as you tip to the side. And we're not letting that right shoulder come forwards. So 2 more here. A little breath in, out breath nice and strong. And then we change sides. So weight now comes into your right hand, step together, step over to your left. Shoulder holds back, weight just to the inside of the thigh, either holding the hip or using the arm to counterbalance. Try and find a little stretch into the back of your right leg by pushing your bum back, but keeping your chest lifted as you hinge forward from the hips. Knee lift or toe tap. Knee lift or toe tap with the shoulder press. So you choose what feels right, but don't rush the shoulder press. Squeeze the bottom, brace your core. Feel free to rest the foot down. That seems like my option for today. When you hinge forward from the hips, keep the back nice and long. So the shoulder blades stay squeezed together. It's going to help us maintain that length into our spine. And twice more. The hips are not behaving today. I think I sat down for too much. Right, take your feet wide, right foot out, pull the left hip back, stick them up to the left, and then tip into the side bends. Little breath in to ease down, keeping your right shoulder relaxed as you rise. So you're pulling the weights and the body back up by using your waist. So again, with a gentle breath in to lower, and the out breath on the rise. Eye gaze either stays forward. You might feel it deepens the stretch a little as you turn your eye gaze up towards the hand. Long back, strong core, and then strong thighs. Squeeze the thighs, squeeze the bottom. That's going to help stabilise the legs and isolate the waist. One more. And now the waist is a little bit warmer, we're going to come to cross leg lunges. So if you're not doing the cross leg lunge, all you have to do is step your foot behind, add a twist, and then step back into centre. Stay with the right leg. If you're going with a lunge, step back, bend the knee, twist, and then step forwards. You can step your foot just back underneath the hip, or stretch out into your big toe, pointing the big toe away. And when you come forwards, Try and keep a soft bend in your left knee so it's not completely locked. And then see if you can take your leg further across to help open the hips more. When you twist, squeeze the bottom. So we're keeping the hips nice and square to the front. Adding a leg lift if you want to, or just staying with that tap. And then your option is to make it all one move. Twist, lift or tap, twist, lift or tap. Front knee again, left knee stays pointing to the front, especially when you twist here. So you can still move slow, keep lots of control into the movement, and still make everything work just as hard. Twice. Once more. And then hold. Bring the weight down. Take a little lean. Lift the leg as high as you comfortably can. Tap it to the floor and add a single arm shoulder raise. So allowing the body to lean to the diagonal, so it allows us to lift our leg a little higher. Or a left shoulder, couldn't work out which one it were. Keeping it down away from the ear. And again, that's going to start to work our obliques to stabilise the space here as we're lifting and lowering. And again, if you prefer, tap and shoulders above hips. 4 to go. Try and keep the weight in the left heel. 2. And your last one. And then you can rest. And we can do it again on the other side. And shake out the left leg. So let's go slow. First option, just step behind, keep the hips square, turn and step in. Or step it back and across, more into that lunge. And notice when you turn your upper body, you're very focused on keeping that front knee pointing forwards. So then we make sure as we twist, rotation comes through the upper body, or we've still got the stability through the legs. Shoulders back and down. And as you step back, take your shoulders back. Sometimes it's tempting to leave the shoulders forward as you step back. Let your whole body go back, and we go down to the back knee, and then pushing up out of your front heel. Adding a leg lift, making it all one move. Just saying what you feel is right for you. Turning, rising, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And just have that back knee and front knee almost come down to a 90-degree angle. Each time you rise, try and get the crown of the head a little closer towards the ceiling. Your last 2 here. And we're going to stay with the left leg. Bring the weight down to the right hand. Again, either just here. If you take a little bit more of a lean through the upper body, it'll allow the leg to lift a little higher. And then when we bring the leg down, it allows the hip to open. Now don't bring the arm any higher than the shoulder. Keep lengthening through the neck, through the spine. Try and relax your left knee. And again, if you want to make it harder, tip more. So you're not actually putting the foot down onto the floor. Feeling it here. Feeling it in the standing leg. 4 to go. 3, 2, and 1. And hold. Let's just take a few little hamstring stretches for our deadlifts. Posture is key for your deadlifts. So the shoulders roll back, chest stays lifted, and you tip from the hips and then push out the heels. Breathing in on the way down, breathing out to rise. Your weight should come above your knees, not below your knees. The weight will come below the knees if you allow the back to round. If you keep lifting the front of your ribs up away from your hips and really push the bottom back, that's where you're going to feel the stretch in the legs. It's not about getting the weight down towards the floor. It's about maintaining posture. It's about creating length into the back of the legs and using that hip drive to bring the hips back underneath of your shoulders. Also, if your shoulder blades separate, that's going to allow the back to round and the weight to go lower. So when you come to the top next time, just give the shoulder blades a little pull together. Imagine you're holding a 50p piece between your shoulder blades and you're trying to hold it there as you tip forwards. Now don't lift with the back, push out the legs. As you push the legs down, that's going to drive the hips forward. And 2 more, and then your last one. And then we'll come down a little further to the floor, onto your back. When you're ready, with your weight, bring your screen down. I'm trying not to cough because once you start coughing I can't stop. So I keep talking funny because I'm trying to swallow it. Right, with your weights, let's go simple overs. So even though we're just moving through the shoulders, we need to set our shoulder girdle, our ribs and our spine. So when you're ready, just bring the weights above your mid-chest and then pull your shoulders away from your ears and then squeeze the elbows in so they're pointing towards your knees, your thighs. Tucking in the chin, in a neutral spine, keep the arms straight and try and keep your shoulders held in set position as you reach back over the head. Now sometimes we reach back, you'll feel the ribs want to lift. So just before you go, press down with the shoulders, down with the back of the ribs, and see how far you can take the arms without the elbows bending or the ribs lifting. Now you can start to add in, nice easy, single heel slide. Sliding the leg out long and then placing it down really lightly as you come back to centre. Breathe in as you extend and then breathing out to close. Now as we extend the arms and leg, we're trying to keep the ribs and hips slightly just held towards each other so you're aware there's a connection between the ribs and hips. And then when you take the arms and leg away, you're trying not to let that distance increase between the ribs and hips. So the more you can hold those ribs and hips towards each other, the more hold we've got in our core, the more we hold our spine in neutral, the more mobility we then can encourage around the shoulder joints. Don't forget to keep the feet light as it comes back to centre. And twice more. Breathe in to open and then breathe out to close. And when you finish that last one, take the weights in the right hand, shoulder away from the ear. When you're ready, you're going to come down, pass to the rib and then open out to the side. I'll do it from this direction. So your elbow still pointing to your thigh here. Down, we press and then we open to a fly. So elbow just slides past the rib. And then I'll notice your left shoulder. Keep the left shoulder pinned on the ground, especially when your weight goes over to the side. Trying to keep the trunk of the body as still as possible. Soft elbow as you extend the arm. And keep that little bit of softness in the elbow as the arm opens. And just twice more here. So again, it's still focused on that trunk stability, keeping still as we work. Now walk the feet a little further back for a hip bridge. We're going to come up to the top of the hip bridge. We're going to come down into a hip bridge with a tricep press, and then we're going to open to a fly with a knee drop. So down to your tricep press, up with the hips. Now open the right arm, the left knee, into the centre. Breathing into lower, out with the lift, breathing again open, out to centre. So the tricep press, the upper arm stays still, and you're just letting the weight come toward the top of the shoulder. And once you're at the top, you're really focused on keeping the spine, the hips, and the ribs still. 3 flies at the top, so hold and open for 3, 2, keeping your right buttock squeezed and your hips lifted, 3 tricep presses down, 3, 2, hold at the top, open for 3, and as you're moving your left knee, see how still your right knee is, and again, 3 tricep presses, squeezing both buttocks to push it with the hips. Now keep the bottom squeezed and open for 3, opening from the shoulder, keeping a bend in the elbow, 1 more set of each, drop the hips, squeeze the bottom, squeeze into the back of the arm, and again holding, opening, 3, 2, and your last one, and come down. Change sides. So weight just into your left hand first. Taking the feet a little further forward, just the press and the fly, just to get a feel for the movement, but at the same time, a feel for the shoulder stability. So ribs down, chin in, neutral spine, elbow by the rib, a single arm press, open to the fly, into centre and down. When you push the arm up, don't let the back of the shoulder come off the ground. So as soon as you start pushing the weights up, start to press the back of the shoulder down. And only push the weight to the point where you can keep the back of that shoulder pinned on the floor. The weight should stay in line with your mid-chest as it comes out to the side. And your ribs to the front still slightly drawn down towards the hips. So again, we're just creating that stability work around the shoulder. Chin's nodded in, breath into lower, out on the push, into lower, out press. Once more, keep that bend in the elbows as we open. I'm going to come back to the fly, but this time adding a tricep press. I'm going to walk the feet closer, arm stays up, shoulder stays down. Come to the top of the hip bridge, add a tricep press, and then open the arm out to the side. Sorry about that one. Lower the hips for your triceps, push up, and then open the arm out to the side. That's better. Breathing in as you lower, out on the lift, into open, out to close. Now the option as you open your left arm is to take the right knee just out to about 1 o'clock, back into the centre and to your triceps. So you're breathing into open, out to close, into lower, out to lift, into open, out as you close. So as you breathe out now and lift, squeeze the bottom. Keep squeezing the bottom as you move the arm and leg, so there's no movement from the hips. Lots of length into the neck. So keep nodding in the chin. And notice that when you move your right leg, your left knee stays perfectly still. So you might have to just squeeze that left buttock just a little bit more. 3 sets. 3, up, 2, up, hold up, open, 3, so stability in the left, keep squeezing the left buttock, not allowing the hips to drop. Now they can drop, 3, push up, 2, push up, holding, hip stability, opening from the right hip, keeping that left knee nice and still, back to your triceps, chin in. So your things hurt more when you work slower as well. So I guess it's a good thing sometimes, not being poorly but moving slow. 1 more set. Push down through the back to the shoulders, push right up with the hips, and don't let the hips move, keep them high, and just open from the right knee, opening from your left shoulder. Once more, and then you can bring everything down. Right, so if you walk the feet a little further forward, so they're back at 90 degrees, either keeping them on the ground or bringing the knees above the hips into tabletop position. Shins parallel to ceiling, knees not over belly, right over the hips. And then tilt the pelvis back so you're in imprint. Now we're going to take a pull over, extend your right leg, and then bring the weight outside the knee. Extend the left leg, and the weight comes outside the left knee. So you're breathing into open, and you kind of meet the knee as it comes back in to centre. So at any point you can keep the head down on the floor, or we take a crunch. So you're always reaching to the knee that comes back into the centre, And again, just meeting it above the hip. Breathing in as you reach back. Breathing out to rise. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Slow breath in, strong breath out. Let your eye gaze follow the weight if you're lifting your head and your shoulders. And again, don't forget you can keep the head rested and just take the weight across the body to the outside of the thigh. Just 2 more on each side. The last one each side. And then finishing with the last one, bringing the feet down and popping your weight down. Give the knees a little hug in, I can't speak, hug in, just to release the back. And then when you're ready, let's come over into a box position today. So if you, excuse me, in a box position, hands on the shoulders and knees above the hips, and we're just going to work with the right leg. So you've got both knees underneath the hips, and take your right leg out straight. So what we're going to do from here is 1 crossover into centre and then a hamstring curl. So we go over, centre, lift the heel towards the bottom, straight leg as it arches across, lift the leg so the knee's in line with the hip as you come into your hamstring curl. I hope I'm making sense. Breathe in as you reach across, breathe out to centre. Pull the heel in, lower the toe, tap the toe across, centre, pull in with the heel. So a little brace through the abdominals, so as you're moving your leg, there's no sway, there's no movement through the hips. Weight nice and even in both hands. Heel up to bottom of the hamstring curl. Now we're going to do that once more, and then we're going to just stay with the hamstring curl. So I'll hold in here, 8, extend. So the knee stays up in line with the hips. At any point if there's too much on your wrists, you can bring your elbows underneath your shoulders. 3, 2, hold the knee at 90 degrees, let it drop a little, and then pulse. Just up and down towards the ceiling. Now again, square hips and shoulders. Small pulse, keeping the belly button lifted. And keep going for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knee down, pull the hips back. And bring your forearms down. You can extend the arms out in front. Whatever feels good, just stretch out your back. Same on the other side, so elbows or wrists. But make sure that you do keep the knees hip distance apart. Sometimes you might find one knee wants to come more midline. So once you're here, that's going to make sure your core works harder, keeping your hips and ribs still. Lengthen, straighten out your left leg. Take it across, back to centre, and the hamstring curl. So again, just tapping your toe, tap your toe, and then lift your knee and pull your heel in. Little lift the belly button towards the spine, and just check your head stays in line with your shoulders. Sometimes the head wants to drop. Again, that's going to change the alignment with the spine. You're just trying to work within a range where you can keep your upper body nice and strong and nice and long. Shoulder blades pulling down to the back of the ribs to help stabilise the shoulders as your leg moves. We've got one more after this, and then we're going to lose the leg arch. Stay in centre, hamstring curl for 8, straight leg. Now keep a little tuck at the bottom, and feel like you're drawing your tailbone towards the heel as that leg extends. 4 to go. Just check the ears are in line with the shoulders, and then we keep the knee at 90 degrees. Let it drop a little. Now don't push back, push upwards towards the ceiling. You can keep the knee just below the hip if that feels better for your spine, to keep it in neutral. Or if you're okay keeping neutral, try and press the heel a little higher. Squeezing the bottom for each push. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Knee down, sit back. So elbows, or stretch the arms out in front. Press down with the fingertips, and then we can release the hips. When you're ready, coming into centre, into seated. Just bring your right leg straight and then placing your left foot. Either you can keep it here if you struggle to take the leg across, or just to the outside of your right knee. Level the hips, so you're pushing your hip down to the floor and opening your right arm. Wrap it around the knee, left hand just behind your bottom. Push your left hand into the floor to try and make yourself that little bit taller. And then gently encourage your right shoulder forward and your left shoulder back. But keep using the hand on the floor to make yourself a little taller. And if you can, turn the head so it just allows a little rotation to flow into the neck. Keep hugging the knee in so it releases the outer thigh and the hip joint. And then release your leg. Bring this leg forwards, right over left, to work out now again. Press your right hip down, so again your shoulders are nicely stacked. Wrap, right hand on the floor, hug the knee in, turn your chest gently towards the right hand side. And then as you breathe in, try and just make your spine a little longer, so you're growing a little bit taller. And as you breathe out, just gently turn into your chest, turn into your shoulders. Maybe turn the head, looking back over the shoulder. And then release your leg, coming back into centre. Both legs out straight. Little bend in the knees if you prefer, or trying to encourage the knees down to get into the hamstrings. Right arm, just reaching past or towards the toes, and then your left arm. Notice how we just turn the upper body a little. Keep the chest slightly lifted. It's that little hinge forward from the hips. Trying not to just round into the back. Keep your chest high. Look around. You might notice each time you can gently push that hand a little further forward. Try and keep the hand above the foot rather than reaching down towards the heel. That's how to keep your chest a little higher. Turning, and the head turn, and the shoulders turn. Once more each side. And then nicely lift with both arms, breathing in, and if you can from here, as you breathe out, hands to shins or towards toes. Let the chin tuck in, draw the belly button to the spine, and see if you can gently draw the toes back just to release your calves. Take a nice big breath in, and as you breathe out, you can release your toes, walk the hands back up, and then we can walk in to a box position. So gentle roll over, just bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, knees back beneath your hips, tucking your toes, push back with the hips just a little, and then come forward with your chest, lifting your eye gaze. So try and tuck your bottom under as you ease back, and then lift your chest as you ease forwards. Eyes to thighs, eye gaze forward, lifting the ribs, and once more each way. And then settling in the centre. Whichever way feels best to come up, maybe lift the knees, the hands walking back or the feet walking forwards. Let the neck lengthen, let the head feel heavy. A little lift of your belly button towards your spine. This way Alexa takes over now for down dogs, up dogs, whichever dogs you want to do. When you're ready, start to restack your spine. If you do start coughing too, keep the chin tucked into your eyes, and rolling all the way up through the spine, and rolling the shoulders back and down. And then when you're ready, breathe in, just circle the arms up above the head, reach up to the ceiling, and then pull the hands back down towards your thighs. And again, breathe in, lift the arms, lift the ribs, extend the full body, and then pull the hands back down and shrug your shoulders. A little lift and a big release. And again, a lift and a release. And well done, ladies and gents. Thank you all very much.